He's at least a second phase recruit. Let's give him that. Like second phase recruit.
That was jarhead-ish for sure. All right, Mac and Clay save the world. It's your boys, Mac and Clay. This podcast is, basically what we're doing. We're saving the world one podcast at a time. And it's kind of like your guide for life. It's like if you were a doomsday prepper and you wanted to prep, this is like your guide for prepping, only it's more socially prepping. All of the things you need to know about life, right? We tackle the hard issues. And we break it down shotgun style. And we digging in, you know what I mean? We really get into the details, the nitty gritty.
Dig. Super deep.
But first, let's hit up the current events. What's going on?
Yeah, so what would you think the most expensive negligent discharge would entail?
So negligent discharge, meaning someone discharges their weapon negligently, right?
Not meaning to.
Yes,
they did not intend to fire.
Right.
Yes.
They shot a round off without knowing they were shooting a round off. It was an accidental discharge, right?
No proper target acquisition.
So we're gonna have to be something big, right? It's gonna have to be, I would say, something maybe like a naval ship. Like, did a Navy destroyer launch off a guided missile?
That would be super expensive depending upon what it hit. But this was evidently an F-35 Bravo, which is it's the most expensive weapon in the world.
It's the most intelligent plane on the planet.
It's supposed
like completely nothing but computers everywhere, right? The thing could like fly itself.
Exactly. I think it's a drone that just has people on it. Like somebody's flying it from the ground.
And it shot something?
Yeah. So it shot a 25 millimeter Gatling gun with what does it say? A 25 millimeter armor piercing HE round into itself. So this thing is $135.8 million a piece. This is the most expensive weapon known to all of humankind. And that one round hitting it caused $2.5 million.
Wait, how did it shoot itself? Is this like a heat-seeking or guided round, or it was the weapon somehow enclosed in itself?
The way it was pointed, evidently, allowed it to shoot itself. It
was like a design flaw. How do you have a weapon that can shoot itself?
You need to put a hard stop on there somewhere. Like, hey, you can only go this far. Your field of fire is here to here, but not here to here. Like,
that's like a World War II biplane shooting its fucking tail off.
It is.
But now we're in 2021 and we got planes that could still shoot themselves. Huh.
Literally the most sophisticated shit in the world just shot itself. Like, so I don't know. We're going to have to really work on that if we're going to save the world from that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, maybe throw our hats in with Raytheon or Lockheed Martin and say, you know what, maybe next time you guys design the next Raptor or super stealth fighter, why don't you hit up Mac and Clay and we'll take a look at the drawings real quick for you, make sure
a little more Mac and Clay in that design.
Yeah, really, you know what I mean. And maybe we can upgrade the weapons too. You said a 25 millimeter cannon.
Yeah, I'm thinking 155.
Let's get a belt fed 105 in there.
Ooh.
Could you imagine? That'd have to be a pretty serious
No.
Belt fed 105s just ripping through everything.
Oh my God. Why has nobody done that already?
I don't know. We should. We're America. We should be doing that.
Like automatic artillery battery.
Could you imagine what a belt of 105s would look like? It would be like the chain on an aircraft carrier, but with bullets in it.
You'd have to have a conveyor belt because nobody's going to carry all that shit.
It'd be like the A-10, but on steroids.
Yeah. But it'd have to be the size of a C-130 to carry all that fucking weight if it was a belt.
Like, so we're talking about a super agile fighter aircraft that looks like a C-130 that's got belt-fed 105s on it.
Yes. But like a stealth bomber.
And we're not talking APIs. We're talking Sabos.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. That's the stuff dreams are made of.
Yeah. All right. So what else happened?
Yeah. Next. So we always like to have honorary jarheads, right? So I feel like this is an honorary jarhead moment, even though this cat was in the army.
But do we?
Yeah, I think so.
This must be a new thing because I don't think I can remember a time in my life where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start calling dudes who aren't jarheads.
After
He
you hear
must
what
have done
this dude did,
super jarheadish.
he did.
Okay. All right. Well,
100%.
fill
So
me in
somehow,
because you've got piqued my interest.
yes. And normally it wouldn't happen. Normally I have to go to Paris Island or San Diego to earn this title. But the fact that old boy was able to achieve a new level of greatness with the receiving 2 separate DUIs in one night, I feel like that deserves a little bit of at least a round of applause, if not being honorary jarhead.
It's quite the achievement. So either he was really sending it. I mean, he was on full send,
Party mode.
or whoever was issuing these DUIs were negligible on their authority and doing what they were supposed to be doing to keep someone from committing 2 DUIs in one evening.
They maybe shouldn't have let him go in the first place, but the shitty thing of it is he was riding with his battle buddy, right? And so the first DUI,
So where was this located?
Italy. So this is on foreign soil, to say the least. So he refused to take the breathalyzer on the first DUI, so they confiscated his license, made the 24-year-old passenger drive away. So they let him go the first time. And this was at 10 p.m. Well, there's a curfew because of the because of the coronavirus in Italy, where you have to be indoors. So 3 hours later, so at 01, he gets pulled over again, driving again. But this time, the motherfucker didn't have no license because it just got took. And he got another DUI. This dude is like, he's straight the epitome
That's
of a private
behavior. That is
PFC, straight up. Like, he gives 0 fucks. He is going to party. Right? Like, down.
I have a couple of things with that. One is the Rona less effective after certain hours?
Yes.
Like the Rona after like 2000 goes night night, and it
goes to sleep.
It's all right.
Yeah, it goes dormant totally.
Right.
And then whenever you sit down in a restaurant, it goes away too, right? So
when you're eating, you can't spread the Rona while you're eating. That's
yeah. Or you could wear a mask that just covers your nose. And
well, so I like the masks where they actually cut a hole in it so you can put food in your face, but also it allows food. It's like a one-way valve that allows food in, but Rona stays out.
It's like a gas mask. It's picture if you were eating through a gas mask.
Right. Oh yeah, it's like a food tube.
It is
gas mask instead of a canteen tube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So you just have a tube the size of your mouth, so then you're safe everywhere else.
Well,
right?
I have very, very strict regulations on who I would call an honorary jarhead. I don't know if I would say that guy fully qualifies, but I'll have to give it some thought to that one. I would say, I guess I'll allow it.
He's at least a second phase recruit. Let's give him that. Like second phase recruit.
That was jarhead-ish for sure.
Yeah. I feel like that is noteworthy. It's noteworthy. At least.
We'll give him an honorary, a nod.
Honorary nod for being a fucking honorary jarhead. Yeah. So let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Right, like that was the appetizer. Now I want the full meal. So
yeah, let's go for the full meal.
What are we saving the world from tonight? I mean, what is the main issue that we're struggling with as human beings on this planet? I mean, what's the hard topic? What we all talking about right now?
It's trying to figure out how both you and I, considering we're part of this, can become
we're culpable.
A little bit less white.
Oh,
so we have to try to figure out.
That's a tough one.
A way that we can achieve this goal and still be productive members of society.
So is this brought on by just, I heard about Coke, trying to have a school circle with employees and discuss ways to be less white.
Yeah. Corporate America is trying to tell you how to be less white. And
we got to break that down a little bit. Cause I mean, if you're going to tell someone to be less white, are you metaphorically speaking, or are you talking about the color white?
Physically. Like as
I mean,
white.
If we're going to talk about being less white, I have some ideas.
Yeah, let's hear them. Dude, I can't wait.
I mean, obviously, if you're going to be less white, you want to subdue the color of your,
Mhm.
appearance.
Whiteness of your
Yeah.
whiteness.
So, I mean, my initial thought would be shoe polish on your face,
Ooh, that's
but I guess
that's
that
quick.
kind of goes straight into blackface. So that one's out. But how else would you be less white? I mean, suntan, sunburn,
Yeah, I like sunburn. Um,
because then you're not white anymore. Now you're red.
yeah.
It's
So then
painful.
you're an Indian, right? Like, so is that how that works?
I don't
Like,
know.
is it how it works?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna go red, you would be a red skin. Well, I mean, I have red neck.
I do
I
too.
have a lot of red neck in me. I know you do. So are we, how white, if you're a redneck, are you more or less white?
That's the $1 million question. I think if your neck is red, you are ultimately less white.
Well, also, who is establishing the scale? We can't be throwing out arbitrary numbers. We have to know where, like, who decides.
There's a
Who's setting the
National
guidelines?
Institute for Pigmentation that's being implemented. So
Is it in France?
yes, it
Yeah.
is. It's based in France, but
A
now
yearly
it's
summit that we send our brightest and best to
yes,
delineate over around a large round table where they can discuss these very tough matters. I feel
super
like we
important.
need a seat at this table.
I think we do need to be represented.
No, I
And
think we need to represent. I don't want someone representing us. I want to represent.
so this is not we're not delegating here.
We're putting our hats in the pool. Like, I would like to be nominated.
I would too. How do we run?
If you'd
for
like
that?
to vote for us, tell us in the comments that you would like to send us to France on behalf of this new pigmentation delegation.
National Institute of Pigmentation. We need to be on the board of that. We need to develop the pigmentation meter to determine how white you are.
I have some ideas. I mean, Al Gore had a really good idea, and he was able to offset carbon through a credit system. So if I was in charge of like a coal plant, I could pay Al Gore a tax, basically, where I was allowed to continue polluting, but because I was giving Al Gore money, I was then basically forgiven of my sins. So,
But would that make you pollute less?
It is just offsets. It's a carbon credit. It offsets. So, can we offset our whiteness through like a color credit?
Ooh, we could pay.
So if you could, this is something that we would, if Al Gore can do it, then I think we could do it. So you could come to our website and buy credits. So if you're doing something, if your skin was just too white, just too pale, I mean, you'd have to pay a certain amount of credits for that. But if you're behaving too white, then, maybe a little ding on your watch would beep, and then we would just deduct some funds from your account.
Maybe we could get an app built for your smartwatch to tell you when you're being too white, so then you can tone it down a little bit. Like,
if you know how to build an app and you're watching this, contact us. I think we got something here.
We need
to sell color-based credits.
Yes. It's going to be like Bitcoin, but for your whiteness.
What if like, should we install tanning beds in our homes?
Everywhere. I think that everybody that got this Biden bucks thing should seriously, if you're white, looking to get in a tanning bed, invest in being less white.
But is owning a tanning bed too white? Is that like kind of like an oxymoron? Are you like,
if the end result is you being
one step back?
It doesn't matter how you get from point A to point B if the goal is to being less white. I think if you have to take one for the team and act a little whiter to be less white, I think it's a win-win. I think it's there. I think tanning beds are the answer. Maybe we could even run for government. We need to
start buying stock. So we're selling white credits or color neutral credits.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, we're bringing ourselves to a neutral.
Yes.
Big neutral deal, we'll call it. Neutral skin deal. I don't know.
I love it.
If you have a name for this, if you'd like to be involved and you want to name our initiative, put that in the comments.
Yeah. I think we could get some good ones.
Yeah. Where was I headed with that?
Yeah. So we talked about changing locations too, right? Like, so maybe if it's something that we need a tan for. Maybe we need to migrate further south. Like maybe we need to
I'm
go
all
where
for
there's
that.
just sun all the
I
time.
want palm trees in my life anyways. So
I know. And if we stay outside, we work outside, we get a job where we, I don't know, frame houses, maybe do some brickwork, but never wear a shirt. We could be less white.
yeah.
I mean, legit. It's definitely a possibility. And if it would make our lives better, I mean,
Well, we'd be offending less people because
that's the win.
So didn't Coke come out with some things on how to be less white? I want to look that up real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Read what they said. The tips to be less white included: be less arrogant, be less certain, be less defensive, be more humble, listen, believe, break with apathy, break with white solidarity. Honestly, I read all those things and I don't know if anything of those apply. I don't know if I could be less arrogant.
No, we're Marines. It's like, that's very hard.
Arrogant is not in my vocabulary.
Yeah.
I'm certain of that.
Yeah, me too.
Be less defensive.
Huh.
I'm not a defensive person. I'm a aggressive person by nature. So I'm always on the fight.
We're proactive. Proactive.
Yep. So we're good there. Humble. Yep. I feel like I'm humble.
Yeah. Humble enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty self-aware.
Absolutely.
Listen. I'm a good listener.
I'm all ears all the time. So we're there. I mean,
do you remember that scene from Universal Soldier where he's got the ears around his neck?
With the necklace?
He's got a necklace of ears around his neck.
Yes.
Fucking love that movie. And he's like calling for one of the names, and he's like, he can't hear you. He wasn't listening. He was being very white.
Evidently not.
Believe. What does that even mean? Believe what?
Believe what? Believe in Jesus?
Just believe.
Just believe in general?
Believe. It's become like a religion. You have faith in.
Believe in being less white, then you will become less white. Is that how it's?
Well, I think we need to get R. Kelly to write a song. I believe I could be less white.
That's white. I believe I could. Yeah, we need. Yeah, I don't think I can keep that going, but I like where it's going. I'm with you.
And what's break with apathy? I don't know what that means.
Sympathetic.
Somebody explain that one in the comments.
Yeah, I have no idea
what you're being apathetic. You're just kind of like being lazy and like blah, right?
Like lethargic. I think that's like lethargic. I don't know why.
You're being a disgusting fat body.
Yeah. Yeah. Lazy.
Well, we're not being apathetic, but break with it. What does that mean? What is break with apathy?
Like, I just need a break from apathy or give it away. I don't get it.
Okay.
Really don't understand that, but that's how we're going to save the world and try to figure out how to be a little bit less white. So follow us for more tips.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to work on it.
Yeah.
Because
that's number one.
I'm not going to lie. I wake up every morning feeling a little ashamed of something that I have absolutely no control over. Yeah. I was born this way, but I also feel ashamed.
It's a shame you were born that way.
I mean, maybe at some point, if we feel enough shame, we could request some, reparations for the shame I feel for being white.
I wonder if that'll work for our grandkids.
We get that on the next stimulus. The next stimmy.
Yeah.
We're going to get some kickback.
Yes. For the color of our skin.
Yeah.
With that's man. I'm going to write that shit down because whenever we go to the pigmentation summit,
bring it up. I'm pretty sure they'll be receptive to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Reparations for being white. All right. That brings us into our safety brief.
We're doing the safety brief first, or are we doing the knife hands?
Let's do safety brief.
All right.
Yeah. So safety brief this week is we basically want to give you some pointers because we know no doubt in our minds you're going to go to the strip club at some point during your life.
Yeah.
Whether you're out, whether you're whatever.
You caused this, really. I mean, the viewers of this show, the listeners of the show brought this safety brief upon yourselves. Yes. So now we need to School circle, bring it in. Eyes
Yep.
open, ears. So
Click. Yeah, there you go. So first rule is basically try to avoid a strip club anywhere near the 1st and the 15th of the month.
Yeah.
Don't
go in there with a full pocket.
No. And if you make the mistake of doing so, please do us a favor and hide half of your paycheck before you step in.
Put it in your sock. Put it in your money valuable bag.
Yes. MVB locked in your wall locker.
We will be checking with wall locker locks.
Yes.
God help you if we find one of those foot lockers without a lock on it.
I will dump your money valuable bag all over. And rule number 2, don't go looking to wife up because none of them bitches love you.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be straight with yourself. This is kind of falls in that be humble, be less arrogant. Don't go in the strip club with the white mentality that these chicks are looking for you. These are pros.
They do it. They'll bleed you dry. And if you don't believe that, go there broke one time and see how you're treated.
Go to a strip club on merit only.
Yes. And be like, hey, I'm just here.
If you pull that off, if you go in there broke as a joke and you just pay the cover charge and you sit down and you walk out of there with the next Mr. or the next Mrs., hey, it was meant to be. Good on you. High five.
That's how you save the world. And if you do that, you're going to be on this team.
If you did that, let us know in the comments because I want to hear that story. Rule number 3, time of day is a big thing. If the sun is still out and your ass is at the strip club, we might have to counsel.
Bad idea. And any strip club that offers breakfast as a meal is one that you probably should not frequent.
Do not. You can consume alcohol. That's a given at the strip club. Do not eat chow at the strip club. I've seen buffets, a buffet line in the back, and it's in the dark in the shadows, and it is the most sorrowful sign or sad line I've ever seen in my life.
If you do decide to partake in the buffet, make sure where you eat is also in the dark so you can't see the shit you're eating. Because if you probably won't want to fucking eat it. It's okay to get your appetite there, but then always make sure you eat back at the house, if you know what I mean.
And have a battle buddy.
Yeah. Go there with somebody and leave with that person. Unless you're that rare unicorn that's able to go there broke and leave with a stripper.
Then high five. Good on you.
We need to hear that. We need to hear about that shit.
All right. Well, that concludes our safety brief for this week.
We'll say we didn't warn you.
We're going to visit the pole.
Yeah. So now it brings us into knife hands to save the world. So everybody knows what a knife hand is.
Knife hand.
This is how we save
These
the
are
world.
the things that are happening in the world today that we want to chop. We're putting on the knife hand chopping block.
It's the Mac and Clay cancel knife hands.
And this is brought to you by Kbar Soap Knife Hand Rehab.
Oh, yeah. You got to keep them sharp, baby.
Keep them sharp, baby. You never know when you're going to have to.
You'll have to cut somebody out and cancel somebody quick. So you gotta really keep them sharp. So slather it.
So what's our first one?
Hypocrisy.
Yeah. I hate it. It is literally one of those things that drives me insane. I hate hypocrites.
I know. They're hypocrites abound these days. What's good for the goose is never good for the gander. And
well, there's only
just like eight.
In my opinion, there's only 2 reasons that you would be hypocritical. It would be this like moral superiority kind of gesture where do as I say, not as I do, but you're like, I'm going to tell you not to do this because I don't like it, but then I get to do it. It's like this moral thing, you know?
Holier than thou mentality.
Yeah, definitely holier than thou. And that rubs me the wrong way. And, I might probably be a little unique because I took a personality test, and one of the top things in my personality was my love and drive for freedom. What happened there?
The light fell.
Little technical difficulty.
My light's being a hypocrite.
You just experienced an earthquake, or are you having a stroke? Signs of stroke.
Maybe a little bit of both.
How's the left side of your face feeling?
Uh,
You've been kind of slurring your words. I don't know if that's the wild turkey or the blood flow to the old grape.
Who knows? Who knows? Well, we're just gonna keep rolling. Keep rolling.
The other thing about hypocrisy that drives me insane is it's basically like someone trying to control you.
Yeah.
And that's not my thing. I don't like to be told what to do.
Never.
And someone tries to tell me what to do, and then I see you're not following what you just told me to do, that's when I go in the red.
It's almost like the leadership mentality, though, right? Like you lead from the front. It's something that I don't. Is that a concept you've ever heard of? And your past is lead from the front, like do as you would wish your subordinates do.
Well, it's kind of like also, let's say I'm flying down the fast lane, right? I'm doing like 90 miles an hour, and all of a sudden, cop comes up behind me, and he pulls me over. And we have a conversation, and I'm like, "Yo, what's the problem, officer?" And he's like, "Well, you were speeding." I was like, "Well, so are you." I mean, how'd you catch me? So if we were technically both breaking the law, does that kind of cancel ourselves out? Aren't you being a little hypocritical there, officer?
That's an eye for an eye. Yeah.
I mean, your wrong doesn't make my wrong right.
Yeah. But it's almost like he's allowed to, though, right?
But should he be? I don't know. These are tough questions. Let us know in the comments.
Very tough questions.
All right, moving on. What's the next one? What's the other knife handing hypocrites?
So I'd like to knife hand the improper labeling of white supremacy that I've heard in the news a few times over the last couple of days.
There's a lot of white. We're talking about a lot of white issues here.
It is, and I don't ever remember that being as big of an issue.
Are you feeling a little attacked? Are you feeling a little defensive?
I don't know how I feel.
You could be, you could be being a little too white. You're acting a little defensive.
Actually, I feel a little ashamed.
It's the shame.
It's a shame.
So, I mean, I think we could all agree that anyone who truly believes that any race, white supremacy, any race is better than another race, that's just fucking retarded, right? That's stupid. That's stupidity. That's ignorance. And it should have no place. And we should be working away from that, right?
100%. That we all bleed red. We learned it in the Marine Corps. We're all green. Yeah. Dark green, light green. We're all shades of green, but we're all human beings at the end of the day. So
I think one of the things that's cool about the Marine Corps is it kind of put you in a situation where you had to work together as a unit and you were all treated equally. And it just reinforced this idea that you were all the same. And that was one of my favorite things about the Marine Corps is, I grew up in a very sheltered life, and a lot of other people from different races grew up in, maybe an inner city versus, the country or the suburbs or whatever, but they're all very like small little snapshots of what our whole country as a full country is. And the Marine Corps kind of like threw us all together.
It did.
Now we get to see other people's perspectives and see, hey, that person's different, but also they have the same capabilities as me. Like they have different strengths, they have different weaknesses. And if we work together, we can be unified together and be strong together. Like we could take that mentality through everything, right? But what you're saying is, if you're going to call out something that is racist or call out something that is white supremacy, then it should go for it.
Yeah.
But when you're calling something out that's not racist or not equated to white supremacy, that's what you're trying to knife hand, right?
Yes. Yes. There's no place for any of that. You just said a word. I think it was unified.
What's the first?
I don't really know what that means.
The first word in both the United States Marine Corps and the United States of America, the unity word, united.
One. we are all as one, right? So
Under God.
indivisible, with
What does
liberty and
indivisible
justice.
mean? Like can't be divided, right?
It's funny how the parties make it that way, though, right?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
How
So
did you get to be the greatest country in the world? Was it through a bunch of tribes that were fighting and angry with each other? Or was it a bunch of individuals who had a common goal that
a
unified,
conglomerate of
behind one goal? We don't have to have all the same goals. We don't all have to think the same way about everything, but we can pick a common path that we want to live together
of
and
freedom.
mutually respect. Freedom is the goal, right?
Freedom is always the goal, and freedom is the end game. So long as everybody has the freedom mentality, we will never lose. So
Look out!